Yeah, this is the video which is continuation with respect to the planning. So, in this particular video, we'll be discussing about the types of planning, the types of decision making, and the premises which is required for planning, and also the hierarchy in the planning we will be discussing in this particular video. Let us see the types of plans, what are all the different types of plans and how it is useful. Plans have to be very depending on the needs of the future. Hence the plan can be classified as the purpose or the mission. That is, plan with respect to a mission, plan with respect to the objectives, plan with respect to the strategies, plan with respect to the policies, planning with respect to the procedures, planning with respect to the rules, planning with respect to the programs, planning with respect to the budget that we will be doing it here. To understand better, let us take an example like to score a good marks in the 5th semester. Okay, let us consider that as a mission or the purpose. That is, secure the highest marks or the higher marks in the 5th semester, better than the 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th semester. Let us secure a higher marks in the 5th semester. What should be the objective? Yeah, okay, I'll give you the objective here. Objective is acquire the knowledge and securing the first class with distinction. Now it is a CGPA, maybe it is a 8 CGPA or 9 CGPA. You should be in a position to acquire. That is the objective of this semester. What is the strategies that you can use? Study from the day one, that is semester starts. From the day one, I'll be planning myself, I'll be strategizing myself, saying that every day I'll be covering the little bit of portions so that at the end I can able to secure a good marks. Studying during the examination, I don't have the time from the day one. Let me sit and study very hard towards the examination time, maybe around 8 hours or 10 hours a day. We will be studying and we can able to achieve the knowledge which is required. Or there may be other sources like listening to the others, having a group discussion, listening to the videos. All these methods you can utilize or you can use it to secure the very good marks in your semester. What is the policies that you have to make it? The policies is attend all the classes from the day one, such that I don't miss any classes, so that my study will become much more easier. Because if I hear in the class, whatever the hear that I hear in the classrooms, that makes me easy whenever I take up the studies. Or I don't hear to anybody, I'll do the self-study. Self-study is to get the knowledge and to get the score. I'll be doing it. The project and the internship will help you to acquire the good knowledge about the industry, about the new things in the industry. What is the procedure that you can do it? Study the standard textbooks. That means the foreign author textbooks and the standard Indian textbooks. You can refer to that so that it can give the complete information. Okay, and study the notes which is been prepared by yourself, because it will be much more easier for you to score well if it is a prepared notes by yourself. Or you can also refer to the soft copies. Those are all the different procedures that you have to achieve the objective or the mission. Rules: study in the morning time, study in the attendance, or study in the afternoon, study in the night. That is the rules that you can able to do it. Attendance, how much percentage of attendance has to be maintained as per the VTU rules. It is 85% of the attendance has to be compulsory, but because of the COVID they also have relaxed it, and because of that various reasons the rules may vary depending on the situation, depending on the conditions. That is, my rules is to study during the holiday days. That means whenever I get a holiday, I'll be fully fresh and I can able to study for 8 hours or 10 hours a day, and I can able to complete the portions. Or I'll study regularly, and a holiday day I don't touch the book. That is also possible. Okay, you have to set a rules for that. Okay, the programs, study in single, that means individual study, or a combined study, or audio or video help that I can able to take up and I can able to study. These are all the different programs that you have. Budgets, high budget, medium budget, or low budget. High budget, definitely you can go to the tuitions and you can contact the individual tuitions for all the 6 subjects, and it will be a high budget. Medium budget, the tough subjects I may go for the tuitions or I may take the help from somebody. And the low budget is refer to the textbooks, refer to the notes that you have prepared, is a low budget. So that depends on what is the planning that you have, what is the procedure that you follow, what is the rules that you have, what is the programs that you do it. All these things have to be planned very well to secure the good marks in your system. I hope you can able to understand the classifications of different plans that you are having. Okay, let us see the purpose or the mission of the planning. Okay, so mission is the basic purpose or the function or the task of an organization, since that is the first thing with which any organization will start. That is the purpose or the mission. It gives very means to achieve the organization goal. That is an example for that is the mission of ISRO, that is ISRO, is to send the man to space by its own rocket and crew capsule by 2022. That is what is the mission is. So they are working hard on that, and they wanted to achieve that by 2022. They can able to send a man to the space with their own rocket and the crew capsule. Similarly, the objectives or the goals of the planning is, it is to end to which the activities of an organizations are aimed at. That is, objectives or the goals or the end output that you are going to get. Okay, it is different from vision, purpose, or mission. The vision is the root of all objectives. The purpose is the primary root for which it exists, and mission is the unique way of achieving the goals. Okay, you should know the difference between the vision and the mission that you are having. Okay, so the mission is the unique way in which you are going to achieve the goal, is the mission that you are giving. So you should know the path in which you have to travel. You should know the way in which you are going to achieve the vision, is what called as a mission that you have. Next, strategies of a planning. The strategies of a planning may be, it is to determine the basic long-term objectives of an enterprise, because strategies is always done for a long period of time. It will not be done for a short period of time. Long period of time, that is, by the end of the year I should achieve that. By the end of 5 years we should have one more plant which has to be existed. That is what is the objectives or the strategies of a planning that has to be done. Okay, adaptation of the course of action and allocation of the resource necessary to achieve these goals are called strategies that you are having. Policies of planning. The policies are the general statements or understandings that guides or channel thinking in the decision making. They provide a framework within which the decision has to be taken. That means they have a vision or a mission. That is the framework. Within that framework, the people has to take the decisions, or the policies has to be laid down. That is very, very important. The promotion policy of a company can be to promote the internal peoples only. That means only the internal, we are not going to bring somebody from the outside to a higher position. We do promote within our organization itself. That means it is a job motivation that we are giving to the employees, which makes them to achieve, which makes them to earn the good position in the organization is important. So the procedure of planning, the procedure or the plans that establish the required method of handling the future activities. That means it gives you the way to implement the policies, different stages in which you have to implement the policies. In a path of traveling, what are all the different stages are there? How specifically you have to do the policies, how specifically you have to travel in that path is to be given by the procedure. That is the which guides to action rather than thinking, and provides a detailed with the exact manner in which the activities must be accomplished. The definite path. If a plan A fails, plan B has to have a procedure. If a plan B fails, plan C has to have a procedure. That means you should know the path in which you have to travel. You are not going to think here. It's action which is more important here at this particular stage. The role of planning, the rules of planning, the rules must be specific, and it should never deviate from the rules, because it is the one which gives you the definite role, that is which spells out the specific actions or inactions, allowing on no discretion. There is no question of any lapse in the rules that can happen. All the rules which has lapsed has to be severely considered and has to be punished. That is the rule which has to be given, like a non-smoking area, or the red signal that is been given in the traffic, or the reserved seats for the ladies in the bus, or the attendance that you have with respect to the VTU. All these things are the rules. Why do they make these rules? These rules are very essential for the peoples to achieve a certain things, or it gives you a path in achieving the particular process. Hence the rules has to be made. That is also a part of the planning. Budget in the planning, that's what we said. The budget is an which allows you to think in a different way, which allows you to think in a better way of achieving the objectives. It is a statement of expressed results expressed in numerical terms. It is a quantified plan. The sales budget or a financial budget or the production budget will give you a target to achieve, will give you a benchmark for you to achieve those targets, will be given by the budgets. The programs in planning, it is a complex of goals, policies, procedures, rules, task assignment, steps to be taken, resources to be employed, and their elements necessary to carry out a certain course of action. Hence it is a program is a complex of goals. It has a complexities that you are having, either the goals or the policies or the procedure, rules. All these things will be taking, and we will set a program of achieving the planning what has been taken. The next is the decision making. We will be discussing, because the first portion is the planning. Once you do the planning, the next phase is to take the decision. Okay, so decision making is an essential part of a modern management. It is a process of choosing among the alternatives in various issues like the collection of resources, recruitment and promotion, make or buy decisions, all these things. Whenever your decisions has to be taken, the managers has to consider the three important aspects, that is deciding, conscious and logic in judgment. Whenever the decision has to be taken, the judgment has to be made. That judgment whatever you make should have a conscious and logical thinking. That is very important. Okay, the next one is the alternatives. Manager should have a various alternatives to take the decision. If he doesn't have any alternative, then whatever the one method that he is having is the best method that he has to follow. Okay, it is a purpose in mind. That means the manager has to keep the purpose in mind and then take the decision, because manager should know the various situation, should know the various conditions or the environment in which he is working, and keeping those future in the mind, he has to take the decision in the today. Types of decision making. First one is the programmed or non-programmed decisions. The decision which you make is a programmed one. That means a series of logical steps has been given, and from first step to the second step to the third step, there is a logic which has been given. Based on that logic, I'll take the decision. That is what is a programmed decision. Second one is a non-programmed decision. It is an instantaneous, we'll take a decision, because instantly it will come to the mind, instantly it need to be taken. Hence, the timing will not be there. The time for the decision making will not be much there. Hence, that it is a non-programmed decisions, or major or minor decisions. Major decisions with respect to the cost, with respect to the size, with respect to the human resource, major decision has to be taken, or the minor decisions has to be taken. Routine and strategic decision. Routine decision is day in and day out that we will be taking a decision, is called a routine decision. The strategic decisions are the long-term decisions, or it will give you a definite path in which you have to give the strategies and then take the decision. Individual or group decisions, as the name itself says, individual means alone the person will take. Group decision means it is a group of people will come together and they will take the decision. Simple and complex decisions. All these are the different types of decisions that you have. Let us see one after the other in the next slides. Steps in decision making. Okay, so there are 5 steps in decision making. The first one is recognizing the problem. Second one, or the first process itself, there are 2 important things that has to be done. First one is recognizing the problem, and second one is deciding the priorities. This is the first step and very important step. If you are wrongly recognize the problem, then entire thing flops. If you don't give the priorities, even then the decision fails. Okay, even then the entire planning will fail. Hence, the recognizing the problem and deciding the priorities is the first and the very, very important decision making that you have. And once you successfully recognize the problem and deciding the priorities, the next is diagnosing the problem. Diagnosing the problem is understanding why the problem has occurred, how the problem has occurred, by whom the problem has occurred, at what time the problem has come. These are all the things you will be understanding the problem thoroughly. When you understand the problem thoroughly, you will get definitely you can find the third step, that is developing the alternative solutions. Alternative solutions may be the A, B, C, D, like that. You may have a number of alternatives, or you may have a very minimum number of alternatives, but the alternatives has to have a measure. The next step that you have is to measuring and comparing the consequences of alternatives. Every alternative has to be measured. Every alternative has to be compared with the consequences that is going to happen in the future. Because whatever the decision that you take today, you are going to see the end result in the future. Hence, you have to compare the consequences and then take the decision making is important. And the last step that you have is decision implementation and the follow-up. For a successful completion of the goal, decision implementation and follow-up is very much essential, because implementing and follow-up is the process of doing it. It may take a long period of time for you to do it, but you have to follow up. Until unless you follow up, you may not find the end results. Okay, now let us see each one of them. Recognizing the problem. A problem is believed to be existing when there is a deviation from the past experience. there is a deviation from the plan, when there is a problem brought by others, the competitors outperform the organization. When any of these things has happened, you will be identifying the problems. You will be seeing that as a problem, and what has to be done next is deciding the priorities among the problems. A manager knows that all problems are not alike, hence the various priorities has to be given for that. So some of them have to be passed on to the higher level, while some of them can be easily solved by the subordinate itself. That means you, as a manager, you are there to, if it is a problem is necessary to pass on to the higher level, you have to intimate them, you have to send it to them so that they can able to take the decision and they can able to give the planning for you. Or if it is possible to solve by yourself or by the subordinates, you have to leave it to themselves to solve it, so that it can be solved harmoniously within themselves. While some problems will be solved without any effort, some requires more effort. That means some problems, the time is the only solution. You have to give some time for them to settle down. You have to give some time for them to solve the problems within themselves, so that they can able to solve it. Or some problems you have to give more attention. You have to give more planning for that, such that you can able to solve the problems. The matrix of the importance versus urgency is very important. If you know how to give the importance and how to give the urgency for the problems that you have, that is a key for a good manager. Diagnosing the problem. The symptoms of a problem may sometimes be misleading. That is, whenever the symptoms may be different but actual problem may be different, the problem which is posed may be in a different fashion, hence it is leading to the confusion. Hence the manager should have a systems approach while diagnosing the problem, that is, look into all aspects related to the problem. That is, studying the problem from all the angles, from the 360-degree angle. The problem has to be looked into, so that you can able to diagnose the root cause of the problem, which is very, very important. Developing the alternative course of action is the next step that you have. There is no one way to solve any problem. There will be a number of alternatives. Every problem has some alternative solutions, so you have to recognize which is the best alternative solutions. That is very important. That is the key of a manager, to identify which is the best mode of solution that you can able to give. To overcome, we can remove the employees. That means what are all the different alternative course of action if there is a recession in an industry. That is because of the COVID. There is a lot of recessions happening in almost all the sectors in the industries. So hence, how to overcome these recessions and these slowdown of the industry is to remove the employees, reduce their salary, cut their extra facilities which is being given, reduce their working shifts. All these different alternatives are there to cope up this recession what is happening in the industry today. Measuring and comparing the consequences of alternative solutions. Compare the quality and the acceptability of various solutions. You have to compare them. Without comparing the quality and the acceptability of the solutions which has been given, you can never implement that, because if you don't know the quality of it, you may fail in the giving the solution. If it is acceptability is not there, then the peoples will not accept it, and implementation will become a problem. In such situations where there is no much information, then the pilot testing is done. That means if you don't have the past history, if you don't have the past data, then you have to do the pilot testing and then take the report of that pilot test and then try to implement that particular thing. Like whenever they are giving the some injections, that is the penicillin injections, they give a small dosage of testing for you, because that will suit your body or not. They will test it first. Once it suits, then they will give the full-fledged medicines for you, so that you can able to, your body can accept that and can able to give a good results. Converging the decision into effective action and follow up the action is the next step that you have. Employees must be communicated about the decision taken. Whatever the decision taken has to be properly communicated, because if there is a miscommunication, ultimately you cannot reach the goal. Hence, whatever the decisions which has been taken has to be communicated to the employees to the fullest extent. That is important. Employees' acceptance must be sought before implementation of the decision. You have to take the feedback from the employees. Whatever the decision is being taken is right or not, whether they can implement it or not, whether they can able to find the way in which they can able to successfully complete the decision which has been taken. That is important. Okay. Follow up the action is necessary for necessary corrections, because you have to follow the actions so that any deviations from the plan can be, corrections can be taken up and can be given a new action plan. Difficulties in decision making. What are all the difficulties that you have in decision making? It is an incomplete information that you have, because if you have an incomplete information, whatever the decision that you take will be not a good decision or will be failure. Okay. Unsupporting environment, because I'll take a decision but the fellow worker or the employees who are working under me may not support for that, because they may feel it is not an advantage for them. Hence, a supportive environment is very much essential for a decision making. Non-acceptance by the subordinates, that's what I said earlier. It is an ineffective communication. That is, for a good communication, if you don't have a good communication, if you are unable to communicate why the decision has been taken up, it is a win-win situation. If you can able to communicate it, definitely they will do the work. If you are unable to communicate, that people will not cooperate. Incorrect timing, that is a decision taken at the right time, will lead to a right results. Hence, the timely decision is very, very important. Planning premises is the next topic that we will be discussing. Planning premises is defined as an anticipated environment in which the plans are expected to operate. That means every plan that you take or every decisions that you take should have an acceptable environment in which the plan can be operative, in which the plan can be executed. That is important. They include the assumptions or the forecast of the future and the known conditions that will affect the operation. So hence, the planning has to have a good premises, good area in which, or the good play environment in which you are going to operate. According to the Kuhns and O'Donnell, a key part of the planning is the establishment of a clear planning premises to assure coordination among all the managers who make plan in organization. The premises should be used by all concerned persons. Premises guides planning. The premises will guide the planning, will give you for the manager, if a good premises will support for completion of the planning, or the execution of the planning will be much more easier if he is having a good planning premises. Types of planning premises: internal and external premises, controllable, semi and non-controllable premises, tangible and intangible premises, the constant and variable premises. Let us see each one of them. That is internal and external premises. Internal premises is within the organization. That means the the workers that you are having, or the investment policy that you are having, or the management philosophy with what your management is working, and the sales forecast that you are having. All these things are the internal premises. The external premises is the external environment, like the economy that you are having, or the social and political situations that is going to happen, or the change in the technology uncontrollable by the business that you are having. All these things is normally this external premises are uncontrollable by the business peoples, but they have to forecast it. They have to see that what externally how it is going to behave, and based on that they should include in the internal premises. Controllable, that is the planning which are controllable, may be management, like the man, material, machinery and the money are controllable factors. Semi-controllable factors, planning which is semi-controllable by the management, like the market, the production, the logistics, etc. It is semi-controllable. Uncontrollable factors like the weather, natural climates that you are having, or the war, or the any uncertain events that is going to happen in the environment will affect for the uncontrollable planning. Tangible, that is, it is a measurable. It is nothing but a measurable, where you can able to measure the production, that is the productivity, or the sales productivity, or the money turnover which is going to happen, or the attitude of the employees, how tangible it is changing. All these things are tangible one. Intangible, it cannot be measured, like the goodwill, faith, the morale of an employee, or the attitude of an employee. All these things are very difficult to quantify the things, hence it is intangible. The constant, that is the plan remains same even if there is a change in the course of action. That is, the plan is fixed. Once committed, I will not hear myself. That is a constant. That is where one of the film actors says, who is that? I think it is in one of the movie he says, once I commit myself, I will not change myself. Okay, that is nothing but the peoples who have a constant mindset. They don't want to change their particular planning which they have, or the material once fixed is a constant. They are not going to change, because that is required always. There is no question of changing the material. Place, the machinery, all these things are constant. The variable factors like the peer relations that you are having, or the changing in the actions that you are having, or the product deviations that you are having. Instead of a 100cc bike, I will manufacture a 250cc bike. Instead of 250cc bike, I will manufacture a 350cc bike. All these things are variable. The plans keep on changing with respect to the market. The last is the hierarchy of plans. Hierarchy of plans are very, very important, because the hierarchy comes from top to the bottom. How exactly it goes, we will see. The objectives is a top level management, or it is a planning which has to be done by the top level management, like the CEO or the owner of the organization, or the top level management peoples will set the objectives of the organization. Under that, you have a strategies. The strategies will be done by the middle level management. That means whatever the objectives which has been set by the top level management, the middle level management will strategize it, how to convert the planning into a reality, how to convert the how to function the or how to reach the goal of the organization will be done by the middle level management peoples. That is the strategies that you have, and the strategies will lead to two different functions. One is for non-repetitive activities, and other one is for a repetitive activity. For repetitive activities, that means non-repetitive activities means once we will take a decision, and then again the next time it will not be the same, we will be having a different situation. Repetitive action is once you have taken a decision, it will be going on every day in and day out. Okay, something like production is a for a repetitive actions, for a marketing, for a new products, it is like a repetitive, non-repetitive actions that is having. For a non-repetitive strategies that you have, it is the single use plan. We are going to use it. That means one time you do the planning, and one time you do the project, one time you do the execute the program and then finish it. And for a repetitive actions activities that you are having, it is a standing plan. That is the policies, the procedures, methods and rules we will be establishing for this. So with this we have completed the module 1, and thank you for going through all the videos of module 1, and wish you the best of luck in your future. Thank you.